Hello friends and welcome. Today's video is going to be all about some money saving tips that has helped our family of 11 over the years. I want to share with you my bread dough recipe. I had a sweet mama who commented that she would like to know more about that. So you are commenting and I am listening. So I want to share that with you today, and we're going to do a lot of cooking as well. I need to bring a meal to my friend who just had a baby. We're going to cook some meatloaf, mashed potatoes, baked mac and cheese, and what else? Oh, some cheesecake bars. So thank you for joining us today. If you're new here, my name is April, and this is April's Homemade. I am a blessed mama of 9 children and a wife of 17 years. If you like videos about homemaking and cooking and cleaning and babies, hit that thumbs up and the subscribe button, and we are gonna get started here. Okay, so real quick, I want to hit you with some money saving tips. Let's talk about shopping. First of all, avoid it if you can. Second, try not to browse. When you do go shopping, you want to put your items in the cart, and I'm not really talking about grocery shopping as much, more like clothing or just decor items, things like that. Put the items in your basket, and then before you go to the checkout, you want to just kind of stop and review your items and see, do I really want this? Where am I going to put this? Because a lot of times after I put something in the basket, once I'm ready to check out, when I look at the stuff before I buy it, I often realize I'm not as excited about this item as I thought I was. Or I realize, I don't really have anywhere to put that. So take a pause before you go to the checkout. Look at your items. Think about them just a little bit more. It's easy to just put something in your basket and then not really think about what you're buying until you've already gotten home. Also, don't let the social media sites tell you what you need. Have an idea of what you need and then go and find it. Do it in the reverse. Don't let an advertisement tell you what you're going to buy. You actually want to shop with the intention of buying, not browsing. And what I mean by that is, don't go shopping unless you know you need to buy something, and know what you need to buy and look for that thing instead of letting the store tell you, oh, you want this and oh, you want that. And you can do this online as well. Just if you're going to Old Navy or Carter's, those are some of my favorites. Just as you're looking at what they have, click on the items that you like, and go ahead and click on them kind of quickly. Then open your cart, see what all is in there, and you might realize, what, I found something else that, while I was looking at what they had, I thought I first wanted this thing, but now I actually want that thing. And you can delete and you can look at the price and say, what, I really didn't want to spend that much. I'm going to delete the items that I did not like as much, and then I will keep deleting until I have the price I'm looking for. So that's a bit about shopping. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk to you about is saving on medical expenses. What we do, we have 9 children, and what we do to really help save on that is we use Blueberry Pediatrics. It's an app. And I am not sponsored by them. I am just telling you this. I've been with them for several years now, and they have saved me thousands of dollars I have gotten prescriptions through them. They have saved me visits to the emergency room. Blueberry Pediatrics is $18 a month for all your children. And what you can do with them is you can talk to a doctor anytime, 24/7, and they can prescribe prescriptions to you. You can have basically like a video conference with them if you want to. You can send them pictures. They will call you and talk to you about whatever happened, and I have been very impressed with them. And they have just absolutely saved me thousands of dollars. I will put my link to them below. Again, I am not sponsored, but I want to tell you about this because I know that it's helpful to many parents. And the other great thing about it is it can be very hard to get an appointment with your pediatrician the same day or even the next day or even the next week sometimes. With Blueberry Pediatrics, you can talk to them. You can talk to them in the middle of the night, which I have. I have done that. And honestly, there have been times where it just gave me peace of mind, and that was so beneficial. So I wanted to tell you about that. So another thing I wanted to talk to you about as far as saving money is staying home. So no matter where you go or what you do, it's going to cost you quite a bit of money to go somewhere. And it has really benefited us over the years to make our home a nice place where we can enjoy just staying home, because going somewhere, it often just costs a lot of money to go somewhere. And that, even if you take your kids or you don't take your kids, it's a lot of money. So my husband and I have not been on a lot of dates over the years. We have actually been on a date twice this year, which is unusual for us. But you can save a lot of money by not going on a date. So it is important to spend quality time with your spouse. And you will hear a lot of people say, date your spouse, date your spouse. And I understand what they're saying. But I think that there is a way to do it without it costing your financial future. When you go out on a date, especially if you have kids, you're probably going to have to pay a babysitter and pay for a dinner to go out and, whatever else you're going to do. So if you are looking to save money, this is an incredible way that you can save money. What you can do instead is you can sit on your back porch with your husband. You can even buy, your favorite drink that you want to have while you're sitting on the back porch. You want to have quality time with your husband, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. If you have little kids, maybe they go to bed at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, your date can be at your dining room table, and you could even just buy something special food-wise at the store, and you can sit at your table and enjoy time with your spouse. The thing about going to the restaurant, I don't think that it is really all it's cracked up to be. Once you get to the restaurant, you're really only there 30, 45 minutes. It's often not a high quality time. You're kind of getting interrupted by the waiter, and and a restaurant is actually it's often not the place where you're going to plan your family's future. You're not going to have really deep conversation about really important things. I will often, if my husband has things to do after work, I will, if he's working in the yard, I will pull up a chair and I will sit there while he's planting a tree, or just whatever your husband is doing, go to him. And those are dates. Those are dates, you know. And I'm not saying to never go on a date. I told you I went on a date twice this year. Don't be bound by a restaurant as far as dating. Know that you can have a date in your home, and it's often going to be a higher quality date together. Another way that you can save money is really looking at what you have and deciding, you know, nothing's off the table. Like what can I do to better my financial situation? You know, there have been many years that our family has only owned one car. And that is actually where we're at right now. We have one car for our family. Now I do stay at home, so I'm not saying that necessarily is an option for you, but don't let our society to kind of keep you in a certain box. Consider things that may not be the social norm, like owning one car instead of 2 or 3. A lot of families own 3 cars. And our car is actually paid off. So we do not have a car payment right now, and we love it. So don't be afraid to only own one car. Another thing is take care of your home. Whether you're renting or you own your home, take good care of it and even improve it in any low-cost way that you can. If you take care of your home as a renter, you will not find yourself having to pay a bunch of expenses once you move out. If you take care of your home and you own it, you can often make money on that debt. All right, I hope that was helpful to you. My husband and I have lived on one income our entire marriage, and you know, the other thing I really want to share with you is if you would really like to improve your financial situation, pray about it. Ask God to give you wisdom when it comes to spending money and using what He has given you for the good of your family. Pray and the Lord will bless you. I'm going to give you a quick snapshot of the items I bought at the store. I bought this sparkling apple grape juice for the new mama and her family that I'm going to take the meal to today. We're going to have some enchiladas later this week. This is the strawberry fruit filling we're going to use for the cheesecake bars. I got some fresh green beans. I bought the milk and stocked up on noodles. As a large family, we use those a lot. The sugar cookie mix was on sale, so I did buy a lot of that because we're probably going to want to make those cheesecake bars again. We're going to use a lot of cheese in that macaroni. Oh, look, Lauren was here. Here are the macaroni noodles for that baked mac and cheese I'm making. I'm going to use those potatoes and lots more noodles. I was kind of running low on those. I am very blessed to have a daughter who likes to get in the kitchen and cook with me. She's making the cheesecake crust right now. I will link this cheesecake bar recipe below. It's been our favorite for years now. I am getting my bread dough tub out. I'm gonna make a loaf of bread and probably some rolls. But I might change that. I will keep you informed. I ended up not making rolls today, but my daughter made rolls with our bread dough reserve in my afternoon routine video. I will link it on the screen here as well as below. You can make a loaf of bread with this bread dough reserve or rolls. Both turn out great. Shannon cooked the crusts for the cheesecake bars. And now she is peeling the potatoes for the mashed potatoes while I get some bread going. To make my loaf of bread from my bread dough reserve, I'm going to just put a little bit of flour on my parchment paper, spread it around a little bit, and then I'm going to open my tub. I am going to make a large loaf of bread, but you can always just use half of this depending on your family size. You could use a quarter of it. You could make rolls, but I am going to take all of what I have in my tub here and I'm going to shape it into a nice loaf of bread. You don't want to handle your bread too much. You want to just kind of fold it in the back of it, or it will eventually be the bottom of it. And you really don't want to handle it for more than 30 seconds. So this is a quick folding. And you'll just kind of fold the top of it like I am with my hands. You'll turn it over. You'll get it kind of into a round shape. And once you have it the way you want it, it is done. And you're going to place it in your bowl. That way it can start a second rise. The first rise was when it was in the tub, and now this is a second rise on your countertop. Okay, I removed my bread dough from my tub, and here it is right here. Here's my bread, woo! And then I made a tiny roll because there was some extra. So that is going on this is going on its second rise now. And you really only need to rise it for 40 minutes. This one's already been going for longer than 40 minutes, but that's fine. So either way is good. But I could bake this right now and it would be good to go. But I'm going to set that aside. I do like to do the second rise a bit longer. It seems to be a bit better tasting. So I've got my tub here. This is what I keep in the fridge. And it's now empty, so I'm going to get it going again. You want to leave kind of this mess in here. It gives it that fermented taste. So huge plus, you don't have to wash this. Okay, so I'm going to pour in 4 cups of room temperature water. So not cold, but not hot. You just want to warm your cold tap water a little bit, let it run to get a little bit warm, and then use that water. So less than 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I'm going to pour in 1 tablespoon of my yeast. And I'm gonna do plus a little bit more. About like that. I'm not super worried about being really precise here. So I got the yeast, and now I'm gonna put in a little salt. I'm gonna do the same amount of salt. I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon plus a little bit more. And then Gonna whisk that all together. Does not have to be a perfect mix. Just mix it together. Give it a good whisk. And that is good. All right, now I'm going to add, so I'm using this organic all-purpose flour. You could use einkorn flour with this or just regular all-purpose flour. Whatever you prefer. All right, so I'm doing about 7.5 cups of flour. Now, you can make less than that. I am making kind of a large batch. I'm gonna leave you the link below of what my recipe is based on, the recipe that my recipe is based on. And it's at healthyelizabeth.com. I don't know her, I'm not sponsored by her, but that is where I got the recipe. I'm gonna mix this with a wooden spoon. Wooden spoon seems to do the job the best way. Now, the reason that I love this recipe is because I am a sourdough starter killer. And this seems to work really well for me. It doesn't die, so that's nice. But also, it is just really simple, and I love that you can keep it in the fridge and it's just ready to go whenever you want to make bread, and you don't have to think about it every day. You don't have to feed it, and it makes really delicious bread. So our family is loving this recipe. So I'm gonna put the lid on. I'm gonna make sure your lid is all the way on, because sometimes my lid has to be pushed down kind of hard. And you're gonna leave this for 2 to 2.5 hours just on the countertop, and you will see it double in size pretty much. It's going to rise. This is your first rise when it's in your tub and you leave it on the counter. And I'm just gonna leave it there. And it's gonna rise for 2 to 2.5 hours, maybe longer, because I'm gonna be gone this evening, and if it goes longer, it's gonna taste even better. So when I get home, I'm gonna put it in my fridge, and then I can get it out and have fresh bread whenever I am ready to eat it this week. So when I'm ready to bake this bread, I will score it with a knife. Let me see, let me get a knife. Gonna dust it a little bit of flour here. Just a little on the top. Gonna do a half moon. Just about a 1/2 inch cut there. And then I do love using the parchment paper. Hold on. I do love using the parchment paper. Yeah, you can get down. I do love using the parchment paper because I can just pick this up from my bowl and put it into my Dutch oven. And I am just gonna cook my little baby roll along with it. It's probably gonna look like this bread has like a tumor or something, but that's fine. Okay, and then I will bake it at 450 degrees for 30 minutes with the lid on. Sometimes it's good to take the lid off and cook it for 10 or 20 more minutes, just depending on how you like your bread. So, and also depending on the size of your loaf. This is a big one. So this one might take a little longer, but we'll see. I mean, you just put it back in even if you cut into it and it's a little doughy, just put it back in. It'll be good. Shannon is getting the cheesecake filling onto the crust and smoothing it out for me. She's making a double batch, one for our family, one for our friends. I am getting the meatloaves going over here. I normally put the meat in the pans first, but I'm kind of waiting on the meat to thaw. My friend had her baby 2 nights ago, and so I am kind of just getting this meal train dinner together pretty quickly. So I want to make sure that they have a meal while their baby is super young, and it can be kind of hard to plan that quickly, but the Lord provided, and we are thrilled to get to serve this family. We like our meatloaf pretty simple. I just dice an onion. I put 1 egg in for every pound of meatloaf. I do some tomato sauce, Italian seasoning, garlic powder, and I also throw in some chunks of Monterey Jack cheese, and I think I forgot to say the breadcrumbs as well. But we love this meatloaf. It's pretty quick to make. I usually have the ingredients on hand. It fills everyone's tummy, and it is great tasting. The main things that I focus on when I am thinking about what meals I want to make for my family are the health of the meal, whether it's healthy or not. Also just the practicality of it. You know, am I going to be in the kitchen the entire day? If I had to do that for my family, I would, but I want us to be able to do other things other than stand in the kitchen and make food, which that requires a lot of simplicity, especially because there are 11 of us. The thing about it, though, is often the healthier the meal, the simpler it is to make. We want our meals to be healthy. We want them to be simple and pretty quick to make, and we also want to really consider the cost, the price of our meals, because we can very quickly spend way too much money on groceries. And then of course there is taste, and we really care about that as well. My family loves to eat some good food. Shannon is getting the meat in there. We do love our meat that we get from our meat market. It really does taste so much better than what you get at the store. There is nothing like fresh local meat. getting the baked mac and cheese going over here. I'm starting with a roux. I put 2 sticks of butter in there, and I'm mixing it with my flour. I will leave the recipe below that I use. In my opinion, the recipe below is a bit overly stated, I guess you could say. I feel like it could be expressed more simply, but it will still be useful for you. Right now I poured in the milk and the half and half, and I am just waiting for it to thicken with that butter and flour that I had in there. But once it gets a little bit thicker, I add in the cheese, and I'm using different cheeses than what's in the recipe. I'm using cheeses that are less expensive. But this has a lot of cheese in it, and it is delicious. It is so great for when you are taking a meal to a house with a lot of children. This is a really delicious side dish. Are you seeing this lovely cheese sauce come together? It is like the perfect texture. It's like it's like whipped cheese, but it's whipped homemade cheese. It's gonna be good, y'all. I want to show you the texture of it a little more up close. This stuff is so good. There's my bread. Okay, I am spraying some avocado oil on the trays. I'm going to make 1 tray for our family, and I'm going to make a larger amount in the other tray. You would normally put all of your noodles in a bowl and mix the cheese sauce with the noodles, but I did not have a bowl large enough for all of this food. So I am going to mix it in each tray. This would be such a great meal for like a church potluck. I am talking to you, my beautiful OPC ladies. This is a good one. It'd be so great. So great for dinner at home or at a potluck, or to take to a family who just had a baby. I wanted to show you our Christmas tree. We put it up after I did that Decorate for Christmas video. If you missed that one, I will link it. We had a really fun time decorating our house for Christmas, but we waited for my husband to decorate the tree. We are getting close to time to head out to our friend's house, so I'm going to make the green beans right before it's time to leave, and those are going to be with butter and some minced garlic in my Dutch oven with just some fresh green beans. These are so simple but so tasty, and at the end, once they're done, I will add in some salt. But I am going to put the lid on those and basically just let them steam for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I will open the lid, stir them around a bit, make sure they're tender, and then add some salt. And those are done. Here is the baked mac and cheese after cooking it for about 25 minutes at 350. Putting the mashed potatoes in the foil pan. Here's the cheesecake bars. I'm going to grab that sparkling apple grape juice to give to them. And here is my bread dough reserve that has tripled in size by the time we got back. And when we got back home, I also baked my bread. There's the little roll that I had. Turned out yummy and beautiful. And here's all the dishes I washed that night after all the cooking. I want to thank you so much for being here. Your presence means a lot to me. I hope you will subscribe to my channel and hit that thumbs up. And I'll see you soon.